If Jesus truly rose from the dead, why didn't anyone outside his movement write about it? If hundreds of people witnessed him alive, why do the earliest Roman and Jewish historians say nothing? These aren't questions of faith, they're questions of evidence, and the deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. Christianity didn't spread because of miracles, eyewitnesses, or overwhelming proof. It spread because it co-opted its rivals, attached itself to power, and rewrote history after the fact. Let's start with the 1st to 3rd centuries. Who were the first thinkers to encounter Christianity? The answer: the educated, philosophers, scientists, and statesmen. And they rejected it, not quietly, not skeptically, but explicitly, publicly, intellectually. Celsus, writing in the late 2nd century, called Christianity a superstition for the uneducated, a movement that rejected reason and preyed on the gullible. Galen, the empire's most respected physician, grouped Christians with those who told stories but offered no evidence. He said, "Christians and Jews accept dogma without inquiry. They preach certainty but flee from reason." And Lucian, a Roman satirist, mocked early Christians for worshipping a crucified con man and embracing death like it was some twisted honor. Even Tacitus, the empire's most credible historian, called Christianity a pernicious superstition followed by the gullible and shame-ridden. These weren't angry atheists. They were the intellectual elite. They saw Christianity not as divine truth, but as irrational, fabricated, and more dangerously, socially destabilizing. And what about the supernatural claims? The Gospels don't just say Jesus rose. They say the earth shook, the sky went black, and dead saints came out of tombs, wandering through Jerusalem during Passover. Matthew 27:52-53 says, "The tombs were opened, and many bodies of the saints appeared to many." This isn't a private vision. This is a mass resurrection in a major capital city during the holiest time of the year. And yet, not one Roman historian writes about it. Not Tacitus, not Suetonius, not Pliny, not even Philo of Alexandria, a Jewish thinker who lived near Jerusalem and wrote extensively about Jewish religious life. Silence. The only people who ever recorded these events were believers, writing decades later in theological texts, without names, without citations, without outside confirmation. Even Paul, the earliest Christian writer, claims 500 people saw Jesus after the resurrection. But he names no one, no testimony, no witnesses, no records, just trust him. Now let's talk Constantine. You may have heard he saw a cross in the sky, heard a heavenly voice, and converted to Christianity on the spot. But is that what actually happened? There's no record from Constantine himself of that vision. None. The story appears years later in Christian writings and changes depending on who's telling it. Even after the supposed vision, Constantine kept honoring Sol Invictus, the Roman sun god, on his coins. He wasn't baptized until his deathbed, and even then it was by an Arian bishop, a heretic by the very council Constantine funded. He didn't write theology, didn't preach Jesus, didn't declare him Lord. What he did do was legalize Christianity and allow it to rise into imperial favor. Christian leaders rushed to claim him. Constantine didn't co-opt Christianity. Christianity co-opted Constantine. So how did Christianity go from tolerated to true? It wasn't through miracles. It wasn't through martyrs. It was through imperial enforcement, and it happened in 5 stages. Stage 1, through legalization. In 313, the Edict of Milan made Christianity legal, not official, not true, just legal. It joined the religious buffet of Roman life. Most citizens still worship Jupiter, Apollo, and Mithras. Stage 2, by theological control. By 325, Christianity was splintering. Was Jesus God? Was he created? Was he human? Constantine didn't care. He just wanted peace. So he convened the Council of Nicaea, funded the bishops, and enforced the winning view, not out of faith, but out of politics. And later, he flipped sides and exiled the very bishop who won. Stage 3, it became the official state religion. In 380 CE, Theodosius first declared Christianity the one true faith by law. The rest, he wrote, shall be branded as heretics and punished. This wasn't about resurrection or revelation. It was imperial legislation enforced by armies, funded by taxes, and wielded by bishops. Stage 4 was the absorption of paganism. To dominate culture, Christianity absorbed the old world. Saturnalia became Christmas. Roman priest titles became church titles. Saints replaced household gods. The virgin cults of Isis and Demeter were mirrored in the veneration of Mary. It wasn't about purity. It was about power through branding. Stage 5, the period of conquest and colonization. From the 5th to 15th centuries, Christianity spread by sword and fire. Forced baptisms, crusades, colonial missions in Africa, Asia, and the Americas. It spread not because of truth, but because of unearned, unchecked power. And finally, the forgeries. Imagine learning a political or religious movement deliberately faked its founding texts. We'd call that fraud. And yet in early Christianity it was normal, even defended. Eusebius, the so-called father of church history, wrote in the 4th century, "It may be lawful to use falsehood as a medicine for the benefit of those who need it." Let that sink in. Deception was seen as a tool for salvation, and it wasn't just theory. Of the 13 letters attributed to Paul, at least 6 are now widely considered forgeries. What began as a persecuted sect became an empire's religion, a cultural monopoly, and eventually, a justification for global domination. Christianity didn't conquer the world through truth. It conquered it through power, through law, legend, and force. And once it rewrote the past, it made itself the only version of truth left standing. So there you have it, 10 reasons why Christianity is likely not true. Do you agree or disagree with them? Please let me know in the comments. That's our video for today. See you next time.